Have you ever heard of the marshmallow test? Well, that's the subject of today's Idea of the Day. One of the most famous psychological experiments was done in the 1960s. They call it the marshmallow test. And in that study, they were trying to determine ways that people could strengthen their willpower and to see what people would do to try to strengthen it. Here's what they did. They took a lot of very young children and they put on a table a single marshmallow. And what the scientists would do is walk into the room and tell the child that they could, if they'd like, eat that marshmallow. But if they could wait 15 minutes, and if the marshmallow was still there, they'd give them a second marshmallow. So they'd get 2 marshmallows. And then the scientists would leave the room. And they wanted to see what these little children would do to either resist or not, or fall for the marshmallow. So they had a very fundamental dilemma. If they loved marshmallows, they could eat that marshmallow and get immediate satisfaction right then and there. But if they had patience and willpower, they would have 2 marshmallows to eat in 15 minutes. And of course, they weren't trying to just take an arbitrary count of the people. They wanted to see what they did. And these little children had different techniques. Some children would just stare at the marshmallow like it's on the plate, like, "Ooh, I want that." And some of them would talk to themselves. And some of them would try to do things like la 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 la, trying to distract themselves, sing songs. And they were trying to determine, well, what are the techniques that kids may use to try to resist the thing? And of course, some kids would just stare at it, and I can't, I got it. And then they just eat it. It was an interesting study. And they went through tons of data. And they were trying to figure out, well, what techniques work best. And as far as they're concerned, the technique, by the way, that worked best was when the kids literally tried to distract themselves. So they would not have to think of the marshmallow, because the more they thought of the marshmallow, the more they wanted it. But the weird thing is, of course, if they really wanted it, they would have waited the 15 minutes. So the ones that really did well are the ones that distracted themselves, tried to play a game, tried to look the other way, pushed the marshmallow to the edge of the table. But here's where things get real interesting. This was the 1960s. And what they tried to do at some point was do something of a reunion, like literally 25 years later. They tried to do a follow-up of all the original participants that were in the study. And they wanted to just see what they were up to. And what they found out was just mind-blowing. The majority of the children who waited until the 15 minutes to get to the second marshmallow, they had, on average, almost twice the salary. Far less of any other measurable indication of success, far more success. These people were far more successful. Those who ate the marshmallow right away were far more likely to have money problems, marital problems, relationship problems, financial, everything that could possibly go wrong was happening with the group that ate the marshmallow right away. And by much higher numbers, the people who waited till the 15 minutes had top schooling, top everything. And so now they ended up with a second result that they never even intended. Their original study was just to figure out what they do to avoid the marshmallow. But the reality of it is, if you can take the lessons of the first part of the study, which is how to train your mind to have stronger willpower, or how to teach your children to delay gratification, that was the biggest measure of success you can ever have. If you want to teach your child one thing, teach them patience. Teach them to have delayed gratification, and they will go much further in life. And that's today's Idea of the Day. All right, there it is. That's today's Idea of the Day. Some of them are pretty good, right? And some of them suck, I admit. First to admit, some of my ideas suck. But if you visit Idea of the Day every day and you subscribe to my channel by looking at the subscribe link in the corner, You'll see a brand new idea every single day. And I promise you, some of them don't suck.